Good evening. Happy Monday. It's 9 o'clock. That means it's the particulars. I'm Lacey.
And I'm Nick.
And quick reminder before we get into anything. Tonight, what we're going to talk about is our opinion, our analysis, and it is based on the public record. It's not legal advice. Take that and carry it with you. All right. Where a case is still working its way through the system, that means the presumption of innocence applies. Full stop every time. No exceptions for how the headline reads. One more thing every time we do this, everything you're about to hear was fact-checked and verified as of 5:30 p.m. Eastern this afternoon.
Hi, Jess.
If something changed after that cutoff, we didn't know about it when we built tonight's show. That's not us getting it wrong. That's just how live news works. Hey, you are right on time. We're just getting through our intro, so
Matt's in the house.
And you know what? Tonight's a big one.
That's what she said.
Stop. A deeper dive into the Scott Peterson documentary against the actual court record, a breaking arrest landing in a Miami courtroom the same day we're live, and a callback all the way to episode 1.
Let's get into it.
Bum.
Oh, sorry. Jess didn't get a horn. Amy gets a horn. Bones of Autumn gets a horn.
You get a horn. I like Oprah.
Jen gets a horn. And Mama M gets a horn. A round of applause for everybody that has joined us tonight.
That's my round. It's too early to start doing a wraparound.
Don't know.
You don't like that? All right, right there. It's your turn.
Yeah, well,
Get
first, we're talking about we're bridging the gap right now, aren't we? No?
Yep, right there.
All right, so quick updates. The Wade, Wells, and Siders cases since Friday.
You're what are you looking at? You're not paying attention.
I'm looking at the bridge card that, we create.
I didn't create that.
Graphics.
I didn't create that. Right here. That's what you're supposed to read, sir.
Yeah, I'm getting to it.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, doesn't look like it. Looks like you're just off there. You can take over all of the research and writing if you'd like.
You can run the stream. That's what I thought. Some quick housekeeping before tonight's docket. A few things people have been asking about. We're live on TikTok only now. This is her home base. YouTube, we'll put the replay on YouTube. TikTok has been so far the best thing for us to get some reach.
Yeah, I'm sassy today. Sorry. I'm not going to interrupt. Keep going.
Our YouTube channel's finally cleaned up. We have some, what do they call them, playlists?
We have a playlist on there for the particulars.
We have a playlist for the first season of the Casewalker Chronicles, where we go over cases in the state of Indiana. And, that organization took a long time over this weekend to figure things out. So if you've missed some of our episodes, you can go to YouTube and find all those in the particulars playlist. And if you do, we've got what is it called? Ko-fi or Ko-fi?
You call it whatever you want to call it, because I don't know. We know if there's one person that struggles with pronunciation,
it's you.
It's me.
Anyways, we'll call it Ko-fi.
I think it's coffee.
Probably.
Because the whole thing, if you go on the website, they're like, buy me a coffee. Get it? So I think that, never mind. Sorry.
I don't know. Anyway, if you want to show support directly to the show, links should be in our bio on most of our social media.
When in doubt, look for our link tree, because I
everything.
updated that today. It has got all the socials, all the links, anything you could possibly look for or want or need.
And Lacey also got our Sticker Mule store fully up and running for Casewalker Chronicles and particular stickers. They are live now, so
we got new stickers, my friends.
That link is in our bio as well. You can check that out if you do want to show support for the channel. This is all we do full time now.
And it is full time.
Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. I thought, okay, we'll just do what we want to do in life, and
how's that working out for you?
Stream, and yeah, we'll be our own bosses and start our own businesses. Boy, did I get a kick in the pants.
I go to sleep later now than I did when I was doing like
I will
a 9
say,
to 5.
I will say though,
So
I do enjoy not having to wake up in time to go to a job that I could get fired from.
I could fire you.
Well, I guess you could, but
I mean, I think I like you a little bit, so we'll keep you.
yeah.
I will say, in regard to the stickers, please hop on our Sticker Mule website
Yes.
and let me know some feedback on the stickers because they are new designs. I've personally never actually seen them in person, so I don't know how they're going to print. I wanted to test them myself first, obviously, but I knew people have been asking about that. So I was like, well, I'll just throw them out and you guys can give me the feedback. So, and I'm hoping to add more things like shirts, coffee cups, any of the things I'm going to try, but everything's a process. So we're building it. But if you like the style, let me know because those stickers are a little bit different. We've upgraded a little bit from our original sticker.
I don't think Casewalker has any other merch stores as of yet that are out there.
No, that's the only thing we have right now.
Just the stickers from Sticker Mule.
Yeah.
A coffee cup.
I think.
Oh, stickers for a coffee cup.
No, like a coffee cup. Like
okay.
It would have our.
Sorry.
Get it together.
I was trying to read ahead.
Quit doing that.
Whatever. Your turn.
All right. So I guess Tag, you were trying to skip all the way to there to begin with. He was trying to bypass the coffee cups.
I read all about it.
Extra. Okay, so quick close on something we've been tracking since last week. Zaire Wade's case is resolved for now on the immediate procedural front. So confirmed directly against the LA County Superior Court docket, not press coverage. He pleaded not guilty in Pasadena. The judge ordered a 100-yard stay away from the alleged victim and confirmation in writing that he doesn't own any additional firearms, and the preliminary hearing is set for September 24th. I cannot talk. I made my own word for September. So let's see here. Oh, here you go. This one. You can take this one. I know you like this one. I caught this one today.
This one here?
Yep.
All right. So
have you heard this yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. I've got some surprises for you.
One more thing. Since Friday, note before we move on, Gary Siders Jr.'s attorney filed a motion this week. A bill of particulars asking the state to lay out exactly how the offense is alleged to have been committed. Who was present, the precise conduct alleged, and the date and time. It was served to the prosecutor on July 16th and stamped filed by the clerk today. No ruling yet. This is a request, not a decision. So essentially what that means is the defense wants to know the playbook of the prosecution.
They want to know the particulars.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I get that.
Did anybody else catch that?
And if the prosecution has that information that they're asking for, they have to present it. This is kind of like a part of discovery, and the defense attorneys are entitled to that information if the prosecution side has that. So that's kind of how all that works. It is still in the preliminary motions and of the, it's not in trial yet. So that's essentially how all of that court stuff works.
I want to point out really quick that I thought that was very interesting that the defense bill of particulars motion landed the same day that the particulars is live. There's no such thing as coincidences, but
they had over a 40% chance for, actually, no, they had over a 60+% chance that it would be the same day as the particulars.
What was all that 1 in a million talk?
I'm just saying, there's only 2 out of 5 days that were not live on a weekday.
I know, there's a lot.
So,
all right, so Friday's episode, we put the Scott Peterson documentary up against the court record for the first time. Tonight, my friends, we're going further. Working from, are you guys ready for this? working from my notes.
Oh my gosh, up all night.
So we are working from my notes tonight on the full 4-hour documentary. And we're going to check the claims against Friday. And what I actually did was when I went through and I was building tonight, I was up till 3 last night watching the documentary. Nick fell asleep. So most of this is going to be a surprise to him. So I'm really excited. Okay. But with tonight, I actually pulled the YouTube transcript from episode 6. So I made sure that we were linking and so that I could go through. Yes, I was in bed with my laptop watching, making notes up until 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I started this morning when I got up doing the deep dive. So I will say, I want to see what you guys think because I'm really excited about tonight. It's going to be a little different. You guys better hold on to your hats. Okay. And if you haven't already, share, like, spread the love, because this episode's about to be going down.
Get it.
All right. Settle in. Here we go. All right. So we do know my disclaimer. You know, we've already said that it's our analysis, our opinion, not legal advice, but we are going to discuss the murder of a pregnant woman and her unborn son. Peterson, as of today, is still convicted. Tonight's segment is about the post-conviction process, the documentary-specific claims, and our analysis of it all. Okay? Just saying.
Not a guilt or innocence verdict here.
So Friday's episode covered the A&E documentary against the actual court order, the third habeas petition, the Appellate tip, the Croton. I think it's Croton. Does Croton sound? I think that sounds weird, but I think we're going to go with that. Anyways, is anybody know what this watch is?
I'm not a watch guy, so.
I mean, I probably should have looked that up, but I mean, whatever. Here we go. Anyways, and they're the 2 formal ethics admonishments Judge Hill issued in that ruling. We're not rerunning that ground, okay? We will continue to kind of bridge some things and link some things, but in regard to kind of new, tonight's a little bit different.
So those 2 admonishments were about Claim 5, Detective Brocchini's testimony being selectively quoted, and the Croton watch pawn ticket, not the Appellate tip, as we said previously.
But that tip didn't hold up either, just saying. Sorry.
Right. But it didn't draw a formal admonishment the way the other 2 claims did. Worth being precise about that distinction.
All right. So what we're doing tonight is different. I sat down and watched the documentary myself, start to finish. I actually watched the part 1 twice. Okay. And then I checked claim by claim against the same court file on points. Okay. So before we get started, has anybody got any questions? Was anybody here? Oh.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Amy did our research.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of like...
I'm sorry, maybe that's why I didn't know about it. Like, are you for real right now?
It's kind of like Coach bags.
A $3,500 watch?
That's nothing.
I think that's crazy. I wouldn't pay $3,500 for a watch. I'm just saying.
They have $100.5 million.
How much does a Rolex cost?
Depends on which one it is. A new Rolex now is like 10 grand, but if you get one of the
vintage,
if you get one of the vintage ones, you can pay upwards of $300,000 to $500,000 for it.
What? That's like okay. I cannot. Oh Lord, this is wow. All right, so here we go. I have thrown in some little Easter eggs and little nuggets. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited. All right. Peterson's entire case has lived in California State Court, start to finish. Superior Court is the trial level. That's where he was originally convicted in 2004. Above that sits the California Court of Appeal, which reviews whether the trial court got it right. And above that is the California Supreme Court, which already reviewed and upheld his conviction back in 2020. He has never been in federal court at any point in this case.
That's worth being precise about because the federal system runs on a completely separate track. District Court, then the Circuit Court of Appeals, then the U.S. Supreme Court. We covered a real example of that federal path back in episode 2 with the Chattree versus United States. Peterson's case never has. On top of that, a viewer asked Friday.
I believe it was Matt, but
well,
I know. I'm just saying.
who,
I'm just
not,
saying.
I'm,
I didn't like throw Matt's name in
you
there
want
because
this to be a show.
I'm just saying.
Matt.
I think it was Matt. If it's not, I'm giving you credit, even if it wasn't.
Matt Faffo asked Friday how many of Peterson's original 2004 trial attorneys are still on his case today. Good question. The honest answer is not many. And that's normal, not suspicious. Trial work and appellate work are genuinely different legal specialties. A trial attorney argues to a jury, examines witnesses, split second calls in real time, whereas an appellate or habeas attorney argues to a panel of judges, working mostly entirely off the written record. Most of Peterson's original trial team, Mark Garagos and Pat Harris, aren't the ones handling his current habeas work. That's the LA Innocence Project now.
So I'm going to throw a quick PI plug in there. Defense teams routinely retain private investigators for interviews and surveillance, which is standard practice, and it's not unique to this case, but we're going to discuss that. And I had to put myself out there and say,
self-promotion, come on.
That is the ticket, okay? So anyways, the documentary is Scott Peterson, The New Evidence, hosted by Chris Pixley, a defense attorney who also represented, I found this out and found it quite interesting, Eric Menendez for about 10 years. That's worth knowing as context for where he's coming from. It ran in 2 parts on A&E. Part 1 was Thursday the 16th. Part 2, which was subtitled Reasonable Doubt, Friday the 17th. The same night Friday's episode of this show aired. It features retired LAPD Detective Nanette Toosby, Peterson's original defense attorney, Mark Garagos, and in part 2, a debate format pairing Pixley against former prosecutor Joshua Ritter. So I will say, throwing this out there, that this documentary was built largely advocating for Peterson's defense team and the Los Angeles Innocence Project.
Yeah. They were promoting what they do.
It's a whole point. I will say, so when you watch this, again, we've already talked about some of this stuff in depth. I'm not going to,
I'll just say, I watched the first episode and it's incredibly one-sided.
Well, yes. And most documentaries, they will have a narrative or a side that they're kind of playing to or debating against, so to speak. So it's not uncommon. Yeah, it's totally not uncommon. It's very standard. But just throwing that out there, that it was, this most recent.
The New Evidence. Yeah,
was very much looking at it from the Los Angeles Innocence Project's point of view. So, anyways, in 2024, Los Angeles Innocence Project says they found handwritten notes with marine supply store phone numbers and equipment questions. A forensic handwriting expert concluded it was Lacey's handwriting, not Scott's. The documentary's claim is that this shows Lacey already knew about the boat, meaning Scott didn't buy it in secret to dispose of her body, and that the defense wasn't aware of these notes. They weren't aware that these notes existed until 2024. Now, if you remember, Friday I said I wanted to fact check that because it caught me. And actually, the second time I watched it, I was like, yeah, it still catches me off guard. And I just wanted to, kind of go through that again, because here's what the actual order says. Now, Judge Hill's ruling states directly, quote, Peterson's claim that Lacey knew about the boat was presented at trial and was not new evidence, end quote. So the theory itself isn't new. It was already argued back in 2004. What may be genuinely new in this specific supporting document, however, is, I don't really even know. I don't even want to say that, but potentially these specific notes. New supporting evidence. So under habeas review, new supporting evidence for an already litigated theory doesn't restart the clock the way the documentary's framing applies. Okay, so this is where I want to be precise instead of just picking a side. The theory these notes support was already on the table at trial. So my honest read, this is a real documentary and it's a real document. may be genuine as a new piece of paper, but it's not a new argument in terms of the case.
Right. It was in the docket and it was in testimony in 2004.
Okay, right. Moving on. So now it's your turn. Were you awake at this part still? Okay.
No. So I have no idea.
Okay, good. I'm excited.
I don't even know what the DELF is.
Delph.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you all about it.
All right. The documentary's science claim, Dr. Ralph Cheng, the prosecution's hydrologist, testified about where Lacey's body entered the bay. But he based that testimony on the wind model, not tidal science, despite tidal patterns being his actual area of expertise. The Los Angeles Innocence Project brings in a newer DELF 3D hydrodynamic model, arguing the bodies couldn't have entered the water where Cheng said, but instead from a land-based location, like the Albany Bulb.
So are you ready for the new part of this, of our particulars? Yeah. Are you guys ready? You got to tell me in the chat if you're ready for this, because this is different. This part's going to be different.
Let's hear it.
It's my opinion, literally my take, okay? So here's my honest hang up, okay? So yes, this technology had evolved. I mean, we think about it, this all happened, the trial was in 2004.
Yep.
So if we look at where we are today.
And they had an expert on tidal patterns in 2004.
Yeah, but what was interesting, and I don't know, I may be jumping ahead, but according to the documentary, what they were stating in some of that was that the original Dr. Cheng testimony only used wind when he was describing the patterns. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to say tide, because he specialized in tidal patterns, so to speak, back at that point.
But his testimony was on the wind pattern.
Correct. And so they thought that was interesting. The new hydrologists, I guess is what they were called, the new science part of it, they were kind of surprised, and they continued to talk about that when it came, to that.
Right, because this is the prosecution's hydrologist.
And we're going to get there. Don't go into it yet.
They're not going to let a subject matter expert, the
Don't
prosecution's not going to let him testify if he's going to say something that contradicts their case.
You are in for a treat, sir. I know you have not looked at this, because you're going to go right along with our viewers tonight. So here we go. All right. So the weather and tidal modeling still involves huge numbers of variables. That's my honest take. Okay. So the same way if we so say for instance, I don't know if anybody watches the lives that our weather people have been doing a lot lately. So say we have people like Ryan Hall. Mm-hmm. Ryan Hall, y'all. He does them. Okay. Now, if you notice when he's doing his lives, or even Mark Weinberg when he does his, they have different models. They have like the European, they have these 3 different models. Now, what do we know right then and there when we're watching this? They continue to say the models typically
they don't always reflect what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, they don't reflect what's going to happen, but they also are usually all different.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 3 different models and they have 3 different outcomes. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, the weather it just does whatever it's going to do anyway. They don't agree, right?
Yeah.
So if we take into effect like the whole Innocence Project thing in this aspect, was they were trying to say, okay, well, we have this new science. This is what the new science says. Yeah, that could be. But with so many variables, it's hard to, in my opinion, say that just completely was the fact, one and all. It's hard to redo a trial just based on that, because we know in theory, if we look at every case that's already been tried all that time ago, are you saying then all of these cases should be retried because the technology has changed? Keep that under your hat for now. We're going to come back to that, okay? So you have competing expert witnesses, right? We have Dr. Cheng, who this was his testimony, and then you have this new one from the Innocence Project, and they're both experts in their field. Mm-hmm. So then I do find one of the most interesting parts was when, and I don't remember what his name was. I'm sorry. I have to look back at my notes because I didn't put it in here. It was Josh, right? Joshua, was it Josh Ritter? Joshua Ritter? I think that's right. Sorry if it's not.
The other attorney?
Yeah, the new one. Well, he used to be a prosecuting attorney.
Right.
And that's why they had, kind of talked with him. But anyways, he used the term battle of the experts. And I thought that was a fantastic point to bring into tonight because as Nick was talking about, it's very much true. So when you have your defense side and you have your prosecution side, they are automatically both going to try to get an expert witness that kind of agrees with their opinion, their theory, their narrative. And sadly, most of the time, it's who's willing to pay the most for the expert or who gets there first. Like, say I am the best expert when it comes to forensic whatever.
Or it's the other counsel's job to impeach that expert witness or make them look
less credible,
So
unreliable. That's going to come in later as well.
Who's the most credible expert is what it usually comes down to.
We're going to talk about that. It's almost like you can read my mind. So at this point,
it's almost like I know a thing or two about trial court.
So that phrase, battle of the experts, is actually something the former prosecutor, well, not this, he didn't prosecute this case, but former prosecutor says directly in the documentary, battle of the experts. I thought it was, I actually kind of like did a little smack on your arm. Like, did you hear that? I was really excited. Like, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, so both sides bring in experts who support their theory. The jury's job is to weigh the credibility, not just the raw credentials. Okay, so then the documentary. Again, sorry, I'm kind of going to take over the majority of this because I was very shook. So the documentary identifies 15 people who say they saw Lacey walking her dog Mackenzie on the morning of December 24th. After the time, Scott said he'd already left for his fishing trip. Okay, so per Pixley directly, the defense team did not call any of these witnesses to the stand at trial. So my take, this was genuinely one of those hard parts for me to sit with. My first reaction, honestly, why would the defense have that many interviews that sit there and not use them? And now, if you remember, we talked briefly just a second ago about how both teams, defense and prosecution, typically have a private investigator. Now, a lot of times your prosecution relies more so with your law enforcement, things like that, where your defense is kind of like, okay, well, we want to, I don't want to say battle, but we want to kind of contradict that. And we want our own outside source. So they usually have your private investigators that, okay. So in this case, the defense had this private investigator that went out and conducted 15 interviews. Some of them were videotaped where they were saying things like, well, yes, I saw her in black pants and a white top and this color, like her hair was this way. And yes, she was struggling with the dog. Okay. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. If we think back about the case and what the prosecution is saying, they were claiming that he had killed her before he left to go fishing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the defense has 15 people contradicting that, why wouldn't you use them?
Okay. This is, we don't know why. At least I don't know why right now. Do you know why?
We're going to talk about it. But you go ahead and tell me what you think.
No.
Because the people want to hear what you think.
That's fine.
I want to hear what you think because you didn't watch this.
I know, but I'm trying to bring this to a level that everybody can understand.
Do tell.
I know this is going to sound absolutely crazy because Lacey is making a very good point. If the defense team had interviews that saw of witnesses.
I hope you get it. I hope you get it.
That saw Lacey Peterson after, outside her house or in her neighborhood or whatever, walking her dog, struggling with her dog, whatever it may be. Here's the thing. Witnesses are very difficult to put on the stand when it comes to what they saw.
Getting warmer.
Because the reason being is because a defense attorney does not want to bring, and I have no idea the reason for
He was
any of
literally
this.
asleep, y'all.
A defense attorney in general, this is just a general thing. This is not always, but they do not want to bring a witness on the stand that can be impeached. They do not want to bring a witness on the stand that can be found to be a liar. They do not want to bring a witness on the stand that has previous drug history. They do not want to bring a witness on the stand that has any dirt at all. You have to be like the perfect individual person to be brought on the stand as a witness for a defense attorney.
Well, in theory, that's not going to happen because there is no perfect person. But
Right.
I get
There's
what you're.
not,
Yes,
but
100%.
that is typically a defense attorney's strategy when it comes to gathering statements from witnesses, is the credibility. Because a prosecution works for the state. Yeah, Matt. So why are there any at all? Well, it has to be an absolute solid slam dunk of a witness. Otherwise, a prosecution attorney will get up on the stand,
Cross-examination.
and they can do a cross or a redirect, and then it can cross again, and you can catch yourself committing perjury on the stand, literally, with just by what you saw, because the way the defense asks a question and the way the prosecution will ask the same question a different way, you will give a completely different answer, and you will end up perjuring yourself. And if you do that, you have zero credibility, and the jury looks at you like you're an idiot. And then they look at the defense team like, they're idiots, he's guilty. So that's my take on it, and that's typically what I've seen happen in court cases is a defense witness will get up there to testify for the defense, and it winds up hurting their case. So that's my 2 cents on that. I have no idea how or why these
All right.
witnesses didn't take the stand.
So, at this point, we're going to discuss something. In my notes, it's very small because I'm not going to just throw a bunch of legal out there for you. I'm going to try to get people to understand in a layperson's terms. Okay. So when you have and we've discussed this, but when you have your prosecution and you have your defense, okay, both we've discussed, we've talked about narratives, but we also have a strategy. Both sides will have a strategy, and that is how they kind of determine what they're going to do in regard to what evidence are they going to present. But they have a strategy. The game, I hate to call it a gameplay, but basically it's a gameplay. What are we going to do? How are we going to, go into a trial? What are we? How are we going to,
and a defense
get to this point?
A defense is going to plant a seed that's going to create the most reasonable doubt. They don't want a bunch of things. They don't want a bunch of little things that create reasonable doubt. They want one big thing that they focus on, that the mind of a person of that person's peers can say, yeah, that's reasonable doubt right there.
So what I did when I saw that part, I was like, what did I just watch? I couldn't believe it. And then I had a completely different thought. Okay. That was the defense's
strategy.
Well, I don't know what their strategy was, obviously, because this documentary is from a prosecution side, the Innocence Project side, in a way. But
that's from the defense's side.
Yeah, but this doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so.
But wait.
The defense was evidence-based.
So because it's, first of all, it's 2:00 in the morning when I'm trying to, my brain can't wrap this, I can't make this make sense, because I'm thinking, okay, this could have been potentially a game-changing point in the trial for the defense, because their own 15 wasn't 1, 2, or 3. No, it's 15 witnesses contradict the state.
Yeah.
And they were the ones that decided not to call the witnesses.
Okay.
So it was a strategy, or, are you ready?
Do you think they wanted it to show incompetence so that they would be guaranteed an appeal later?
I'm just saying it was either strategy or a competence problem.
That's going to ruin those defense attorneys. There's no way that they would do that. Not for one person that the whole public, the whole world believes killed his wife and kid, and
which it was also talked about in the documentary. And I hate to say that I was at this.
I'll have to disagree with you on that. Sorry.
That is ineffectiveness of counsel, 100%, and that goes directly to you're not. Okay, I digress.
Okay, no.
Because it's your turn.
What I'm saying is I don't think that was a strategy.
Then what was it?
I don't think being ineffective as a counsel was a strategy.
What was it? Then what was the strategy? Why would you?
Well, I'm just saying what I gave you my opinion on why they didn't bring up those witnesses. Because they were evidence-based, or lack thereof.
Who? Which side?
The defense.
Okay, well, keep going. It's your turn.
They had the scent dogs. They had all of that.
No. Don't jump ahead. Quit jumping ahead. Would you follow what you're supposed to talk? Because you're jumping ahead. You got to follow along with the documentary instead of sleeping.
Ladybug, the motive in this case. Yes. So the motive was presented by the prosecution, which is also a story. Anytime you look at motive, it's a story. So it's whether, and that's the story that they presented as motive. So you have to take that with, okay, you're being read a story. Is it believable or not? That's what it comes down to.
So I'm going to throw out some stuff that's going on in the chat right now. So what we're kind of talking about in the chat is people are asking questions like, I don't think anyone saw her for certain. Here's the thing, which I will say, in my own personal opinion, they had some form of psychology expert that they talked to in the documentary. And I thought he did a fantastic job because he does a lot with memory and memory recall. And I personally think that is fantastic because if we think about memory in terms of a computer hard drive, okay, or your phone in theory, okay, so when we have memory right after the event happens, I would say, and he even kind of talked about that. I'm not an expert in this. I'm just kind of recapping what he was talking about because it's pertinent to what we're talking about in our chat. All right, can everybody hear me? We have some really horrible equipment, obviously. I don't know what you guys heard, but basically...
No, it didn't cut off hardly anything.
With memory, like I was saying, it's like your hard drive in your computer, okay? So when it reaches the point where your hard drive begins to get full, we start to overwrite things, okay? Or you have to delete stuff. And that's kind of how your brain and memory works. Which is why if you think about when you're a child or something like that, that was so long ago for the majority of people that those memories are fuzzy or they're specific key. And again, there's also trauma that plays into things. So if it's a traumatic event, your brain can either like completely shut it out or it can remember it in vivid detail. But anyways, sorry, that was a long drawn out way to say that in theory, when we're talking about these original interviews were conducted so close to the time that it happened. So in theory, their memory was fairly intact. However,
I'm trying to figure out where this entire section is in our...
I'm getting there. I watched the documentary. But anyway...
Who's jumping around now?
It's making me sweat. So anyway, when it comes to... I'm answering the chat. I'm interacting. It's an interactive session here, okay? So anyways, in regard to this, with these key witnesses that they had interviewed, I will say, yeah, they could have been interviewed or influenced by the media 100%, but the fact that they were interviewed so close to the time after it happened, and some of these people, while there was one in particular that they said his story originally when he had spoke, he said one thing, and then years later, he said something else. But think about it in this aspect, okay? Say, for instance, so one of the people, and I don't remember which one, I wrote their names down, but one of the witnesses was on her way to work when she had this interaction, or she had this memory of, because they saw it on the news, and they were like, hey, I saw that person. I was on my way to work. But if you think back, could you recall somebody that you just happened to see when you were on your way to work?
I think there's a 100% possibility of that.
Yes, but in detail.
Yes.
Okay, you're the one in a million, sir.
Here's what I'm going to bring up.
Okay, let's hear what you have to say about this.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I see. That was weird. It's like your smoke break before you clock in. I would have smoked in my car, but to each their own. Not.
All right, so.
Just say it.
Put yourself. I don't think any of us that's here right now have been in this particular situation where we've been asked to testify against a murderer. Sorry.
I don't think they're ever going to ask me.
No, that is the situation here.
No, I know, but I don't think I'm ever going to be in that situation. Like, I don't.
But put yourself in that situation. Put yourself in the situation where you are a part of a neighborhood and everyone and your brother has been force-fed that this cheating asshole killed his wife and unborn child. Sorry, plain and simple, he was 100% persecuted by the media as soon as anyone found out that he was having an affair. No one is going to get up in front of a courtroom, and no one of the public is going to get in front of that courtroom and on that stand and say that, no, I saw her way before or way after he'd already left for his little boating trip. Sorry.
We're not even in the meat and potatoes of the section yet.
That it doesn't matter. That I'm just talking about this section with these 15 witnesses. It wasn't ineffective counsel. It was the fact that these 15 witnesses aren't going to get in front of the stand and then be ridiculed for the rest of their lives that they were trying to get an innocent man or a guilty man innocent.
It's your turn.
Hey, just saying. I know we didn't talk about it, but
what do you mean you didn't talk about it?
The legal standard for incompetence. I don't think
we're talking about it right now.
I know. The legal standard, it comes from Strickland versus Washington. It has two parts. First, the attorney's performance has to be objectively deficient. Not just a strategy call or you disagree with in hindsight. Second, that deficiency has to have actual prejudice to the outcome, meaning there's a reasonable probability that result would have been different had the...
So, i.e., in theory, if you had 15 witnesses get up on the stand and contradict what the state's theory was and what their timeline, because they had one witness, sir, that created their entire timeline. So, in theory, if I would have had 15 witnesses...
Do we know why they did not bring those witnesses forward? I'm asking you.
I don't know.
Do we know?
I don't know.
Okay. The defense knows. And it was
I don't know, Margot.
It was probably brought to the attention of Mr. Peterson, and they couldn't do anything about it because I bet they weren't going to testify. Reason being is because the media had already persecuted him.
We're not there.
Prior
Quit
to
jumping
trial.
to that. We understand you don't like the media, and we get that you think that they persecuted this man. I get it.
Well, they did.
Stick to the story. Stick to where we are.
This is my opinion of why these 15 people did not take the stand for him.
So you said, did you finish your set where you were talking about the, because ineffectiveness of counsel, your strategy in theory.
Sorry, it's my opinion that it
allegedly.
It's not an ineffectiveness of counsel.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
Reason being because a defense attorney is not going to, they're going to try their best not to do that because it ruins their career.
Could you say beyond a reasonable doubt
They're going to do everything they
that
can.
these 15 witnesses testifying in front of a jury wouldn't have changed the outcome of the case.
They didn't. So it didn't change the outcome.
You're missing. Is anybody else picking up what I'm putting down here? Is anybody else, or is he just like talking to the wall? Is this sinking into anybody else or just me? Like, am I out there in left field on there? Because I'm thinking in my head, legitimately, if okay, I digress. Anyways, it's a high bar ineffectiveness of counsel.
Okay. And what if those 15 attorneys would have gotten up there and they...
It wasn't 15 attorneys. It was 15 witnesses.
15 witnesses got up there and got impeached by the prosecution.
Would you stop with the impeachment? We're not there. At trial, the judge only allowed one of the 3 dogs sent evidence in. The dog that was allowed, Trimble, handled by Contra Costa Search and Rescues, a Luis Anderson, trailed Lacey's scent to the Berkeley Marina.
Mm-hmm.
So, in that, there were 3 scent dogs. Only one was allowed in trial.
And here's what the order actually shows. The current petition rebrands a challenge to that scent evidence the California Supreme Court already rejected on direct appeal. The argument now is that newer hydrology and fetal dating theories prove Lacey's remains couldn't have been at the marina when the dog trailed there. So the scent evidence must be false. The court called this an attempt to relitigate the same issue with different tactics. It's also worth knowing the Supreme Court already said on direct appeal that even if the scent evidence had been excluded entirely, it likely wouldn't have changed the verdict. The prosecution barely relied on it in closing.
All right, my take. I love dogs, and I do 100% believe that dogs can track scent. That's not really what this is questioning. I don't think. That's not my question. But the issue the documentary raises is the handler's interpretation of what the dog is doing. Okay, so that's harder to cross-examine than a straightforward chemical test.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have 3 dogs, and let's say, for instance, that we have this handler, and this handler, and they're all different organizations. Mm-hmm. Because there's not really a standard in terms of dog handling training, it's kind of, there's not really, to my knowledge, there's not a standard. Mm-hmm. It's not a uniform science.
Right.
So in my head, in this situation, if I have 3 dogs, because we can't put a dog in the box and ask it questions or cross-examine or any of those things, we have to do what? Speak to the handler.
And rely on their training.
Only on their, because anybody could say, like I could say, well, Demi says this. This is what Demi feels. Well, I don't talk to Demi. Demi can't talk to me technically. So it's my interpretation of her actions and the training of the dog and the training of the handler that kind of depicts that. So in a way, I'm saying I kind of understand where we're saying that in terms of jury, that could be like a prejudice kind of to one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. That's why you typically get multiple,
well,
like with the 3 dogs.
Per the order, the specific claim isn't new evidence about the dog itself. It's a repackaged version of an old challenge, and it's leaning on the fetal dating and the hydrology arguments that we just covered, but they're kind of throwing all of that in together. Mm-hmm. As science. Like it's not saying, oh, well, this is all new evidence, new science. Some of it, they're just kind of wanting to attack different claims tied to, it just doesn't, again, it's really hard because it's like, oh, well, Demi sat down, so this is
what it means.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I do believe that like dogs are very intelligent, and like I know that their sense of smell is so much stronger and better than ours. And I know like our dog, she knows like our son's truck. She can hear it. She knows our patterns. She knows when we're supposed to be home. She doesn't have a watch. She can't tell time, but her senses are so much more advanced, so to speak, than ours in those senses, that she does so many things that I'm amazed that she can do. But
you can also train a dog to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
You can train a dog to follow your every command. I
understand why we are, like, why this is considered like a not.
It's junk science.
I wasn't going to say that.
No, it's being used. It's used in court. It's junk science.
But I think I do think that dogs and these.
Oh yeah,
I do think there's a value or a benefit. But in my opinion, which we're not talking about it, we are going to talk about it one day. I made a note that we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about polygraphs. But don't come at me. It's almost like in some aspects.
I don't think that animals should be able to be used when it comes to trying to find someone like innocent or guilty, when it changes someone's life.
Right.
When a dog can be used to find cadavers, that's amazing. That's awesome. To find missing people, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Is everybody kind of following this?
Don't use dogs to determine someone's life. Plain and simple. Don't use animals to determine someone's life.
I'm all about the dogs. I love the dogs. And we're talking about missing people. And again, if we look at things, which we haven't really talked about it specifically.
Yeah, Jess makes an excellent point.
There's a difference between...
And I'm sure that was argued.
There was... Yeah. And there's just
because it's junk science.
Well, it's not. I just think that, there's a difference. Again, there's a difference in a homicide investigation versus a missing person investigation. The manner and the way in which you do things and the timing of how you do things is different.
Are you going to talk about how they treated it like a homicide invesation from day one?
No.
Because they did. The detective...
We're going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about something else now because...
Don't get me on Detective Brocchini.
We're not. Well, yet. We're not there yet.
He should have been fired immediately.
We're not there yet. Follow. We have to stay on task.
You're the one that keeps talking about all kinds of stuff.
No, it's all relevant. Is everybody following where we are now? I'm following a path, right? Is everybody following along? Do we understand what's happening? Give me some kind of something in the chat because he thinks I'm crazy.
I don't think you're crazy. I think
Jess, yes?
I think that Lacey's really, really quite upset because for over 20 years, she thought one way and she thinks a completely different way now. This is where it gets genuinely contested. And we want to be precise instead of picking a side here. Susan Medina testified at trial that she and her husband left home December 24th at 10:33 a.m. and returned December 26th around 4:12 p.m. So during the Christmas holiday, they were gone, okay, when they found that their home was broken into.
They were burgled.
This is a burglary that was discovered on the 26th in the neighborhood of Scott and Lacey Peterson.
Why are you looking at me like that?
No. Susan Medina was a neighbor. Not directly. I don't think they were direct, but they were in the neighborhood. But it was known that 2 days after Lacey was reported missing, there was a reported burglary. However, they don't know what day it happened on because they were gone.
The current petition tells a different story. Built around a witness named Carlos Hernandez, 17 years old at the time. He says he rode his bike past the Peterson and Medina houses on December 24th between 10:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. and saw a woman he believed was Lacey walking a golden retriever toward the park. On his way back, he says he saw a white van with its back doors open, a man inside it, 2 other men standing nearby. A few days later, he reported this to police in person. He says he approached the officer he identified as Detective Brocchini and was told, quote, "We got our guy, but thank you." This is a genuinely unresolved factual dispute.
Sorry.
The trial record says the burglary was discovered the 26th. The petition's new witness account points to the 24th. Present both sides, okay? Because that's all I'm going to say right there, okay? So listen, if Hernandez's account holds up, the timeline gets a little bit more interesting. Okay, so a burglary in progress the same morning that Lacey disappeared with a specific report to police that apparently didn't go anywhere. If the trial record's timeline is right, it doesn't connect at all. However, this is one where I genuinely want to see more because okay, well, at the trial, okay, hold on to that. Is everybody following? We following along so far? Here we go. At the trial, the prosecution's fetal growth expert, Dr. Gregory DeVore, testified that Connor's gestational age put his death at December 23rd, directly supporting the state's timeline. The documentary's claim is that newer research moves that window significantly later.
Here's what the order actually shows. And it's a sharper story than the science has changed. The exact argument was already made in Peterson's 2015 petition, already reviewed and rejected by California Supreme Court. Imagine that. Back then, an expert named Dr. Genty said DeVore used the wrong formula and that the corrected math put Connor's death around January 3rd. Genty also said on the record that he could have testified to all of this at the original trial. He just was never contacted by either side. The current petition presents the identical claim again, just with a new expert, Dr.
Don't ask, because I don't know.
Dublé.
Is that how we're saying it?
Yeah. Using newer studies to land on basically the same window, December 28th to January 5th. So,
all right.
Again, this is...
So that's a more precise problem than the science changed. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's the same theory, already rejected once with a new expert's name attached. What's actually worth sitting with is Genty's statement. The expertise existed and was available in 2004, and nobody called him.
Yeah.
So that's less about new technology and more about whether the original trial prep was thorough.
Yeah, they just didn't get with a good enough, what do they call them? Prenatal.
So in the documentary.
Specialist.
In the documentary, they had I don't remember exactly what he was, but so listen, okay? So anybody that has gone through a pregnancy, all right? We've all kind of been told the same general thing, right? Oh, we can get a pretty rough estimate of the date you conceived. And your baby's measuring roughly around these measurements. So they're, for the most part, this is your delivery date. There's so many, I'm sorry, in my personal opinion in this, there's so many, again, variables, because I love that word. There's so many variables that it's like, I don't know. I think, yeah, see, it's like there's too many things we don't know. And they talk about in the documentary, they're like this doctor or specialist expert, whatever you want to call him. He talks about, unless you know the specific rate in which the baby is developing.
And then the woman makes a totally
you can't
different...
technically give, their whole thing was that was way too, I mean, you can't, 2 days or whatever he gave at trial was just, that's not a reasonable timeline. Like, they can't really pinpoint it that specific, was their whole thing. Okay, so there was that. And then one more Los Angeles Innocence Project claim was that, is it the Stanislaus? Is that how you say it? County?
Mm-hmm.
DA's office had a documented pattern of misconduct relevant to how they'd approach a case like this one. They point to the Frank Carson case, a $22.5 million settlement, one of the largest malicious prosecution payouts in California history, after Carson and 7 co-defendants were wrongfully charged in a 2015 murder-for-hire case and later acquitted. So the Carson case involved largely different individuals, okay? The DA, Birgit Fladagar, investigator Kirk Bunch, and is decades removed from Peterson's prosecution under DA James Brazelton and prosecutor Rick Stasso. This claim does not appear anywhere in the order detaining or denying third petition. It was never formally litigated as part of this habeas proceeding, okay? But again, you will notice...
It's just a talking point for the Innocence Project, especially the LA Innocence Project, because they had that big settlement. It's a pattern.
Did you read ahead, or were you able to pick that up?
No, the whole title right here says an institutional pattern claim.
Well, it was a pattern. They were saying that the prosecution was, again, whatever. I do think patterns matter, and I think that you are able to ascertain certain things by looking back over a period. Can we say beyond a reasonable doubt that there was any corruption, etc.?
Hindsight's 2020.
Right.
That's why we have the appeals process.
Okay, correct.
But
Good.
the appeals process is failing.
All right.
That's why this is going to go to the Supreme Court.
I just think it's fair. I think it's fair context. Do I think... I mean, I don't really think I can weigh in on it.
Here's something that I never heard talked about.
This next part?
No, not about the scent. And we don't cover it tonight. I don't know if we're going to cover it in another episode, but I haven't really heard it talked about because we're almost done with the Peterson case for tonight.
Go ahead, because I do have one more thing I want to add that's not on here.
We talked about Connor, the baby.
Yeah.
We talked about Lacey.
Yep.
She was pregnant at the time.
Yes.
Okay. Do we know what her due date was? Was it pretty close to Christmas time? No, we don't know.
I don't know off the top of my head. I have it somewhere. I cannot give you that. I'm not comfortable giving you that.
That's fine.
A date or whatever.
That's fine.
Without.
We do know for a fact that she was pregnant. She had an unborn child in her body, inside of her. She was found in a completely different location that the unborn, now can we say born? What happened there? No, that's the question. Is any of that answered in any of this? Because here's what I know about the ocean, because I've swam in it. I've done free dives in the ocean. Okay. There are many creatures in the ocean that will devour.
I cannot believe you just went there.
Devour human flesh. Okay? Plain and simple. And what boggles my mind is that not only were the bodies able to be identified, but they were in 2 completely different locations in the bay. So let's think about this. What's more probable? She was abducted. The baby was cut out of her, didn't live, so had to be dumped. And what better way than to, same bay. I get that. But why wouldn't you just put them together? Because if they were dumped in the ocean, I'm sorry, in the bay, where the prosecution said...
What do you say? Let's go cut some hay?
Where the prosecution said these bodies were dumped in particular, how is the baby born.
Do you want me to discuss my final piece that I didn't actually include in the script tonight? I'm gonna take it to.
We didn't talk about where things stand yet. We can do that.
Well,
Or we'll do that at the end.
no, because I think tonight's going to wrap up Peterson. But I want to say there is one I do have.
That's a good question, Jess. Do we know that? Was that brought up in trial?
Do the people want to hear where I stand with this case? And the final piece that I think is the missing piece.
That's a good question, Amy.
What do the people want?
They want a story. They want justice.
All right. Well,
they want a feel-good story.
In the documentary, there were quite a bit of pieces of information that I was not aware of.
Like the fact about Brocchini destroying evidence, his notes?
I'm going to come together and I'm going to give you the whole thing, okay? So, yes. In a document somewhere, I have it at some, either it's on my computer or it's in my notes. I'm not going to give you the direct pages. If you want to get specific and have me show you where this was or where that was, I can try, but I want to just kind of give you a heart-to-heart conversation right now, because I've watched, I think, every Scott, Lacey, Peterson documentary. It was one of those pivotal cases.
This happened when we were kids, teenagers. So it was very impressionable on us because it was in the news. Our parents watched it. We watched it.
And it was on every magazine and the thing. But
Nancy Grace, all that stuff.
So, anyways, so there was out of the 15 witnesses, 7 witnesses claimed to have saw a van. Now, I've already told you where there was potentially a contradiction between the Medina's home being burglarized.
Yeah.
And you have Karen Service, or Servaz, I think is how they said it. She was the next door neighbor. She is the one that actually returned Mackenzie to the Petersons' home. And she returned the dog because she found the dog roaming around outside with the leash on. So she put it in the backyard. However, she never went inside the home. She never even interacted with Scott or Lacey. So there's no way to actually say whether or not Lacey was dead in the home, gone, whatever.
Right, which is reasonable because if our neighbor's dog got out, I wouldn't go in their home.
I would just put him in the fence.
Yeah.
But they were able to use because she had to go to a Christmas store or something like that. She had a receipt, and the prosecution used that receipt to build the whole timeline. Mm-hmm. Okay, well then you throw in that the Medinas got back to their home on the 26th, and that was when it was discovered that their home had been broken into.
Right.
But they're really, we don't know if that was the 24th, 25th, 26th. We don't know.
We don't know. No, because they left on the morning of the 24th.
However,
the same morning.
However, then there's the other part where there was a van that was found in the airport district a mile and a half away from the Peterson home.
Abandoned.
That was caught burning.
Mm-hmm.
And that van had a mattress in the back with
blood on it?
Potentially.
We don't know.
There were 2 samples, A and B. There was it was brought up in the documentary that they were trying to get the other sample tested, DNA tested.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to throw theories out, so to speak, but it makes a lot of sense to me if Lacey is, say, taking her dog for a walk, and she does catch a burglary in process, and they take her and put her in the van, and then they kill her and dump her body, and then they burn the van.
Very plausible.
I'm just saying, if things don't quite line up exactly, you have in my head created reasonable doubt.
People don't know what that is.
I'm just saying, as someone who has been very steadfast in my opinion, my theory, my belief,
Do you know when
my interpretation,
Do you know when the van was found in the airport district that caught fire?
Christmas
On Christmas Day?
morning.
The day after. The day after she went missing.
I will also say that there is a document floating around there where you do have Detective Braconi stating that he did do interviews of Scott Peterson and, you know, the things. His notes, supposedly, allegedly, were destroyed from the 24th and the 25th. So his actual notes that he took, perhaps during a canvass of the neighborhood, don't exist. There was also supposedly, let me find my note here because I wrote it down. I wrote it down in here. I did question because according to the documentary, the van was seen in front of the home on December 26th. But however, in the documents, it is different. I wasn't quite sure on that. But there was a meeting of some of the law enforcement in regard to the case that occurred on May 6th. I don't have the year. I would have to look back. But they did destroy some evidence in regard to the Medina burglary.
Yep.
So in my head, that I start to think, while I cannot verify or even know what supposedly was deleted or destroyed or missing, as a juror, playing devil's advocate here, without that evidence...
No, he cheated on his wife. He's guilty.
How can I make a determination? You've got different things. You got different things, different people. Again, we kind of go back to the credibility of people.
Right.
You've got different people saying the van was white, the van was red, the van we found, this wasn't the same van. Was the van connected? However, if you've got, let's think about this. If you've got two homes with two major events that take place within roughly 24, 25, 26, 3 days of each other, in theory...
Thank you, Matt, for all the gifts.
How can we not think and I'm sorry. I'm just saying, in terms of law enforcement, how can we not do more thorough investigation?
Lacey's really upset because the media betrayed her.
No. What I am upset...
The justice system has betrayed you.
No, what I'm saying is, if in theory... a home was burgled, because I love that word, burgled. If a home, why? Everything could possibly be in a connection. There's too many things. Like, in theory, if you have it,
who tells the better story?
Shh. If you've got...
Well, that's what it all comes down to.
If you've got people investigating and questioning and canvassing and doing these things, and they're literally across the street from each other, this like 3 days, why are we not? Why is there no connection between them? I mean, I'm not saying they're connected. They could be completely different. But if you're on one street and you've got law enforcement going up and down these streets, then you've got people saying that these 15 witnesses, they're saying, well, no one ever even talked to me from the police. What? Huh? What is going on? Thank I just don't understand. Could someone please explain to me, someone who spends so much time reading court documents, reading witness statements, I don't understand.
Because they work for the government.
So all in all, basically, at this point, it's kind of like Indiana and Kentucky. We're a house divided now because I'm not, beyond a reasonable doubt, sure that Scott Peterson is guilty. And it pains my heart to say that. But after looking through things, I cannot, because there's things missing. And if there's things missing, I don't know what those things are missing are. And I don't know what I can't know. And at this point,
tell you that
there's no way to unring a bell.
Oh, yeah, there is.
No, there's not.
Of course there is.
We can't get back what that information was. Perhaps if we have already arrested these two individuals that burgled this house, where's those things? Because, conviction, let's just chuck all that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's what the Court of Appeals is for. That's what your justice system is designed to do. To make sure that justice is served, that we get the right people.
I don't know. I probably just lost about all my followers. They probably think I'm crazy. But I say all of this to say that if this show is anything, it is not that we are pro-prosecution,
no,
pro-defense, pro-victim, pro-whatever. I am willing...
Forever.
No,
actually, it's kept until all appeals have been exhausted. That is technically the law.
Thank you. Yes, we do have 103 followers.
Awesome.
Yes, and thank you for all the gifts. Thank you for all the things. I'm sure I'm going to watch that number start to go down as people catch the replay. But
no,
I just want to be honest and say that I think I'm confused.
It's not. No, we're not confused. This has been going on systemically forever. We know this. It's that we're trying to get this information out to other people so that they realize, hey, you can't just go off what the good guys say because it's not always right.
A true verdict, a true conviction should stand up against scrutiny. And I will say there are too many questions that I still have at this point. That is what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm saying I still have questions. And in a jury of my peers, that is not beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
I have doubt.
Jess.
Or questions.
If it wasn't Scott, then the burglars are obviously, with the documentation and information that has been presented, the burglars are the likely suspects.
I feel like there was not enough investigation to determine whether they were involved or not involved.
And there never is. There never is when somebody hands themselves to the police.
In theory, how do we convict anyone?
What?
Because what you are saying, if you are a juror on a trial, you have to convict, saying that you have no doubt in your mind that that person...
reasonable doubt.
Right.
You have no reasonable doubt.
Any person would have a reasonable doubt. So in my head, that's why, again, I don't think I'll ever be on jury duty because no one's going to put me on there because I'm going to be like, listen.
John wants jury duty so
Me
bad.
too. I was in the jury pool and I didn't get selected. And I'm very upset about that. They're never going to select me because they're like, nope, she's crazy. Nope, no, she will not convict. Do not put her on there. No. And I get that. I really do. But because
a defense would love you.
Because I think I still have questions.
Yeah.
And I would want my peers to look at things so critically that they would say, because in all honesty, every time someone is on trial,
I would want a prosecution to do their damn job.
It could be you. It could be me. It could be anybody else sitting in that chat right now. It could be any one of the people living in this country that is put on trial, and you would hope that they would exhaust every, like, it could literally, when I'm sitting there, I have to look at this and be like, yeah, they've done their job. They have persuaded me that there's no other person that could have possibly done it. It was Colonel Mustard with the revolver in the kitchen. That's the only things that it could be. Well, that is the point of a trial.
Unfortunately, humans aren't cut and dry like that.
Well, then.
And that's why we have the justice system we have.
Mic
because
drop.
It's the one that works.
I'm just saying, is anyone following?
Yeah,
is anybody feeling? I'm not trying to create doubt. I'm not. But what I'm saying is somebody who was feeling very confident in a lot of things.
She's so upset.
I question everything now. Is the grass green?
And from my standpoint, and
where do you stand,
me
sir?
Personally, so if you actually know me, this is not new. None of this is new. You know that. None of this is new to me.
So what do you think?
What do you mean? What do I think?
Do you think that there's... Okay, A, do you think that the case should be looked at different? Do you think we should look at the case again, revisit the case?
No. Reason being is because what is done is done. It honestly does not matter at this point. It's been way too long. It doesn't matter at this point.
Well, yeah, I do think like right now he cannot have another trial in theory because...
No, he can.
He could, yes, he could have a trial. But again, we are going to what? Call who?
Here's my thing.
Call these witnesses that this was so long ago they don't even know what happened. They can't rely. You can't. That's not a reliable testimony.
You gonna let me finish?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Here's my thing. It all comes down to what story's gonna sell, what's gonna make the people happy, and what is gonna be the highlight of the do-gooders doing good. I can tell you right now, it's not going to be a cold case. It's not going to be, we didn't do our job, so we can't figure this out. It's going to be, we have to find somebody responsible for this so that the citizens of our town, our county, our state can feel safe. And I can tell you right now, that most of the time, they do get it right. They do. But not every time, because we're not infallible people. At the end of the day, these investigators, these prosecutors, they're just people. And they have motivations. Everyone does. They're human beings. Sorry, we're not robots.
I'm not saying that we are robots.
We all function the exact same way. There would be no fun in society if that were the case.
There is no fun.
So, that is my take on it. But this is where tonight leaves us, because we covered a lot. We're already almost 2 hours into this damn thing.
I told you all this. I am very long.
So we covered a lot on the Peterson case and trial and the verdict and all that kind of stuff, and talked about different most of this was about the new documentary and new evidence. I say that loosely because it's not technically new. It's just a lot of stuff that hasn't been brought forward.
Okay.
It's been brought forward, but
we'll
just in a different way.
Disagree.
The marine supply notes and the fetal dating claim both trace back to theories the court already had in front of them and already disclaimed or rejected. But it was just a new paper with a new expert with that. So the dog scent challenge is a repackaged version of what was already rejected. The Medina burglary date is a genuine unresolved dispute.
We have questions.
Yeah, we're not going to pretend is settled. And the Carson case is a fair piece of institutional context that the court itself never actually ruled on. combined with what Friday's episode covered, the Aponte tip, the Croton watch, both of which fell apart against an unsealed 2004 transcript, that's the 14 claims in this petition. And Judge Hill rejected all of them. So, because they don't want to be wrong.
Well, at this point,
that's what it comes down to.
One would hope that, I mean, okay, I'm just, all right. Now that everyone in the world hates me, it's okay.
No, nobody hates you. The documentary brought forward a biased opinion, yes. But they had some valid opinions. They really did. Now, again, they're opinions, and they're going to be biased. That's fine. You just have to take into account what was done during the trial and pre-trial and all the evidence that was handled, and it makes it really hard to believe that they got it right. Just saying.
I will say, I just want to stress that investigations are very important. And details matter. And
Always.
While the majority of people probably think I am very strict on things.
All right, from a case that's decades old to one that's less than 48 hours old. And this one's landing in a courtroom today. And we're live.
So I'm just going to say.
Top G, baby.
What?
Lacey has no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, full disclosure, when I was first reading this and I saw names, I was just like, do, pulling, cases. And I'm not, unless you like
Are you not a top G?
No, like unless you committed murder or something like that, I don't probably know who you are.
Are you a brokey subprimal?
I don't know what that means, but probably. I don't know. Tag, you're it again.
Yeah, I know.
See, thank you. I don't know. Is this a male versus female thing or like?
So
you gotta,
a little background if you don't know who Andrew and Tristan Tate are. I don't condone anything that these two take part in. Their social media presence, their boxing presence. They're
boxers?
No.
Oh.
They want to be. They're not.
Was this the one that had that fight and like did all that stuff last year? And no?
Are you talking about no, you're talking about the other two brothers. The one who fought Mike Tyson.
Yeah. What was his name?
Not them.
No, it wasn't them?
No.
It just happens to be two other brothers that.
Yeah. Anyways, these guys grew up in a very impoverished.
Logan Paul, thank you. See?
Yeah.
The Paul.
Matt knows who Andrew and Tristan Tate are.
Well, I think he's the only one in the chat.
That's fine.
I feel like you're talking to Matt.
No, because he already knows who they are. No, these are not the Island Boys either.
The Island Boys? Are you talking about the Menendezes?
Nope.
No, who are the Island Boys?
Stop. Not Matt. Andrew and Tristan Tate are, in my opinion, they're pretty terrible people. Here's the thing. They've got a lot of dirt on them, but because they are able to have a huge presence in what they do, they get a lot of money. And it's a power thing. These guys are super egotistical, very narcissist, extremely toxic masculinity type thing.
You're just.
These guys are very, very, very anti-women. Yeah, use women only for pleasure, and that
I don't. All right. Well, now you gotta tell the story. I feel like you're putting a lot of like
very degrading to women. and it's been that's kind of public, and they're very public about that as well. They treat women like,
I just feel like you're throwing a lot down here on this. Like,
you don't know who they are.
probably a good thing.
Well, I guess, yeah, it's gross. They're gross. They don't live in the same reality that us normal people do, I guess.
I like to use the word common. I feel like we're common.
Common, yeah.
Anybody that knows
Anyways,
us,
they were
we're pretty
arrested.
common.
They were arrested by U.S. Marshals in Miami on Saturday on a sealed warrant pursuant to an extradition request from the United Kingdom. The UK's Crown Prosecution Service announced new charges. Andrew Tate faces 42 counts, including rape, human trafficking, indecent images of a child, and assault. Tristan Tate faces 17 counts, including sexual assault, rape, and trafficking. Both brothers are dual U.S.-UK citizens, and they were scheduled to appear in Miami federal court today.
Okay.
They're, what? This was all sealed, which I think is stupid, but it's part of that because they're a public entity, and they are. They are a public face. They are a public figure. And the reason you don't know who Andrew and Tristan Tate are
We don't run in the same
because-
circles. Is that what you're trying to say?
Nope. It's because you don't try to hear or associate about people like this because they're not good people, which is not a bad thing.
I have no opinion.
Now, I'm not saying that I associate with these people. I just know about them because I'm a dude. And I'm pretty sure if you're a dude who's in his 30s, you know who Andrew and Tristan Tate are.
You can read a lot of this because this is like a very, like, so where we have the sourcing update.
I'm not there yet.
I'm just saying. Well, because Matt had a question, so.
So their attorney, Joseph McBride, publicly called the arrest, quote, a political hit, end quote. That's his characterization on the record. We're not weighing in on it either way. Verified today, the post appearance, Local 10 AP, Andrew and Tristan Tate appeared before a federal magistrate in Miami today. Their first appearance since Saturday's arrest. They remain in federal detention. A U.S. district judge will decide extradition conditions in the coming weeks. No bond or extradition ruling today. Full legal names are Andrew Tate is Emery Andrew Tate III. And Tristan Tate is Tristan Cornell Tate. Emery is his father's name, also his grandfather's name. They come back from a long line of not good people. Let's just say that. Further confirmation, CBS and AP News today at 11:44 a.m. Where was I?
McBride told reporters.
McBride. This was earlier this morning.
Right.
The chances of release Monday were slim to none, adding that does not have anything to do with the merits of the case, that it's just what happens typically in these situations. It's going to be a little bit drawn out, but it'll be a lot faster than people who don't have money. Let's just say that. I'm just going to make sure everything's still running here. Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to throw in there that the 59 combined charges is 42 Andrew, 17 Tristan. These reflect the new UK charges tied to 4 new victims. Andrew and Tristan are already separately charged with additional offenses: the rape, the bodily harm, human trafficking, controlling prostitution for gain, relating to 3 other alleged victims from 2012 to 2015.
Yeah. This is not news. They were just
in court today.
They were picked up on an extradition.
Right.
From the UK.
And I don't know if we actually talk about extradition, and maybe that's one of those things. I keep this running list of all the things that we kind of need to talk about, but
yeah. So the Tate, the Andrew Tate and Tristan stuff is not new. It wasn't like something that they just did today or this weekend or whatever. This goes back to charges brought on them because they were hiding out in Romania for a while, a couple years back from UK, because they had these charges on them. So they were hiding out. And Romania, I think, doesn't have any extradition laws or something like that.
Maybe.
So, yeah. They're just terrible people. And
this is a sealed warrant, too.
Honestly,
so
I could care less what happens to them.
I did try to pull what all I could,
Yeah,
but because everything is like
it's sealed.
So hush, this case is it's tough. So this is the last one tonight. This is also a callback way back to episode 1. So,
which is going to come full circle a little bit to the beginning of this episode. I have a little tidbit for it. Sorry.
Throwing out all the stops. Look at you over there.
Go ahead. Got to keep it interesting.
Back on episode 1, we covered 2 flock safety cameras getting cut down in South Carolina. Up in Newport, Kentucky, the city just ended its own flock camera pilot program entirely. Now, I will say that depending upon which news reporting that you go through, it's either 16 or 17 cameras that are coming down. Okay. And I tried to verify,
regardless of the number, it's their program. They're getting rid of them.
There you go. You're tagged. You're it.
Newport's own stated reasoning was public feedback and, quote, recent developments in Fourth Amendment law, end quote. That ties directly back to the Shatry versus United States ruling we covered in episode 2 about the Fourth Amendment and reasonable expectation of privacy. So we don't really need to do some updated sourcing on this one because it's flock stuff.
I will say that the Newport Assistant City Manager Brian Steffen told Link on 7/14 the city's use of the system would cease immediately and cameras should be removed within the next week or so, meaning the removal window closes right around tonight's air date. I could not find any update.
My opinion on this is these are political figures that are getting public backlash, the people that technically vote them in, if you believe in that. So they're going to try to do what the public wants, and it's more so of a public feedback issue where the public doesn't want these cameras, so the political figures who are within the city say, take them down.
And I will say, because I had to put this in here, this is my pat on the back. I'm sorry I am that person, but Newport's own press release, Captain Kevin Drowan and Link both confirmed the city explicitly cited Shatry v. United States as a factor, which tied directly to our episode 2. Newport Police Chief Chris Fangman on record, Flock helped solve the city's only shooting of the year in May while the department weighed that against public concern.
Right. So.
And they do have a Board of Commissioners agenda, which I actually pulled myself today. They were confirmed going to have that meeting, whatever you want to call it. There's no flock ALPR item on tonight's agenda. So that's all we have from them in regard to that. I literally looked at their website today, tried to find any information as official regarding to them. And as of the time I was doing tonight's source pool and things like that, I was not able to obtain anything other than the agenda, which had no mention of the,
So,
just saying.
Let me throw this at you. We're talking about flock, right?
Are you going to talk about Kenton County?
No, we don't need to talk about any more that has to do with that.
I think it's relevant, but okay, whatever. You don't want to talk about Uncle Andy?
No, I can't stand him. Sorry. I can't stand any politician.
I think that's important.
Okay, you can talk about it.
Am I going to disrupt your train of thought if I
No.
Okay. So, I will say that Kentucky House Bill 58, an act relating to privacy protection signed by Gov. Bashir, 4/10/26, Chapter 71 sets a 90-day automatic.
So sorry,
I swear.
guys.
We can't catch a break over here. Tell me it's Monday. Did the world decide Monday's technology does not work?
I don't know.
I don't even know what you guys heard me say.
Such
At
a
this
terrible
point,
Monday.
anyways, ALPR data retention limit statewide, Kentucky House Bill 58, 90 days, okay? It requires public disclosure of the locations. It was filed with 23 sponsors led by, was that Representative Hog? I think every clip should be me trying to say these names. Anyways,
That's
Banta,
Hodgson.
Banta, Proctor, Roberts. Newport's was a 30-day retention policy.
A little bit tighter than the laws require.
Correct.
But anyways,
Now,
I
sorry.
like to bring into note about these flock cameras because
I know.
okay.
I looked at that 30K. Sorry. I am sorry. But 30K likes. I'm sorry. Like, I cannot with that number. Like, first of all, that y'all have all of our tech issues.
Yeah. Thank you for sticking around this long. I do want to bring in, though, before we end this, flock cameras. We're talking about them. They're huge in the media right now. They're crazy. People are for them. People are against them. Think about this, okay? You get so upset about investigators not doing a great job and potentially convicting a wrong person of doing a heinous crime. Had there been a flock camera on her street?
Do you really want me to go down that rabbit hole? Because I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
We're not tonight, but just think about it. Just think about it. You could have ended up with the same outcome.
You know what? You could probably write a petition and you could probably submit that as an appeal. Actually, you know what? You should probably write him a letter.
Hey.
Listen, what I want people to take away from the podcast, from the live streams.
Let's get the audience's opinion on flock cameras. Flock cameras, yes or no? Let's hear it.
You are just
I want to know.
instigator.
No, I'm not.
Sure. Matt
Okay.
says sure.
Yeah.
Anybody else got to weigh in? If you're in the chat, if you're here watching, even if you're just popping in, doing your scroll, uncommitted. Okay.
Okay. An uncommitted yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else want to give their opinion? We're not going to hunt you down.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. If you're not committing crimes, why are you against flock cameras? Because if you honestly think about it, who in here doesn't have a smartphone?
I was getting ready to say, how many times have you opened an app or
They're
a website?
already watching you.
And you get
so
that.
as long as you are being a decent person to society and not out there committing crimes, there's not a lot that you need to worry about with it. And also, it could potentially keep you out of prison if you didn't do anything wrong, because you can use those as a resource. Did you know that? When the investigator or detective comes to your door asking you questions
It's
about
the same
where
type
you were.
thing. Everybody's got a ring or a blank or a something.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I said. I constantly, when people say stuff to me, I'm like, listen, my spouse is prior military. What do you not know?
Right.
Like, I don't, at this point, we've had the men in suits at my front door. I don't really think there's much else at this point that I can't just.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people in society that don't want to follow the rules.
Okay, I get that. And I get that we have expectation of privacy. I get all of that. But it's like, what am I genuinely doing that
Just like the people of Newport not wanting flock cameras in their town, I don't want to go to Newport now.
We're all, I mean, literally at this point, we're all tracked.
Yeah, we're all being tracked.
And we all give away pretty much every kind of consent that is possibly needed.
Yeah.
When, like I said, when you open those apps and it's got those privacy terms and conditions and everybody just goes, whoop, 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 select, yes, agree, come on, open the page. No one reads that.
Yep.
Nobody reads that.
It's true. But that's the docket for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have a little teaser for Wednesday.
We do.
Well, that's what it says. It says close and tease Wednesday.
What are we teasing for Wednesday?
Oh, never mind. We don't know what we're talking about on Wednesday.
We don't know what we're talking about anytime. But anyways.
It's all just made up.
Yes.
We don't know what we're talking about. We don't know what we mean.
We're just here having a good time. You know, what else are you going to be doing on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday night at 9
I've lost my marbles.
I can't. Oh, see, thank you. Should we get a T-shirt set? We're going to make a T-shirt clear as mud.
I think somebody's already done
The particulars.
That. That's
No,
old.
I'm claiming it. I'm claiming it as I'm going to make merch. Would y'all buy a shirt that says the particulars clear as mud?
Yeah. Hey, 31K likes tonight.
We
had
cannot thank you
more
enough.
viewers tonight than we've ever had so far. Thank you all so much for being here.
Yes.
This has been the particulars Monday night at 9.
We're back Wednesday.
Headlines in, the details begin. We'll see you back on Wednesday at 9. Love you. We'll get
See
you a
you guys.
shirt.
Thank
We're
you
gonna
so
get,
much.
We're
We're
going to
gonna
get
get
a
our
merch
merch up.
store. We're going to get all
Share,
that.
like, spread the word. The
Thank you.
particulars. Love you guys.